Hi, and thanks for joining. My name is Lloyd Summers from Red Iron Labs, and today we're going to do some unboxing videos. We're going to do this in 360 as well as traditional 2D style video recording, so make sure to follow using the video format you like. So we got a surprise package in the mail from Oculus, which is pretty exciting for us. Usually we deal with HTC Vive and OS VR, and we haven't had a lot of Oculus hardware to work with. However, Oculus has really started to push into the market and do a really good job. And today we got a special package in the mail from Oculus as a surprise package as part of the Oculus Start program. And I think that's really cool for a couple of reasons. Number one, Oculus Start is really giving some software and hardware out to developers trying to get into Oculus and work with Oculus, and I think that's really cool. The software licenses alone are worth quite a bit, and so we're kind of excited to see what they've sent us for hardware. Now, full disclaimer, these two packages we ordered separately ahead of time. I did open them to check that the stuff's in them. However, I have not opened the packages themselves, and I thought, hey, this could be really fun for an unboxing video as well. So these two packages are for the Oculus Go, which is kind of cool because it's a 3 Degrees of Freedom VR headset. Retails $199 US, I think, which is basically an Android device built into it so that developers, users don't have to have a high-end phone or all of that stuff. I mean, the fact you can get all of this for $299 is just awesome. But we haven't really looked at the packages. We just got them, made sure the stuff was in the boxes, and that's all we've done. And this big box, the big mystery box, is what we got from Oculus this morning. So this Oculus box I've been excited and waiting for. It's huge. I don't know if you can see that in the videos very well, but it is a hefty size box. And so whatever's in there, I'm sure it's more than a t-shirt. So we have some VR events coming up, and we wanted to get a couple of these Oculus Go's. Oh yeah, that looks cool. Kind of to see if we can use these for some of those events for kids where they probably don't need the whole HTC Vive, all of that set up, and something like an Oculus Rift or anything big, it just might be too much. So we were hoping to get a couple of Go's so that, you know, kids could just have it on their head and not have all the cables held up. So that's what this is. Now, packaging-wise, it's put in the box pretty good. I mean, they have buffer room. I don't know if you can see that. So it's less likely to get bumped around and damaged in transit. That's kind of cool. The headset itself, it's probably hard to see without a reflection, but there you go. So packaging is obviously absolutely awesome. Very cool. So we're going to be excited to get into those. But these two we ordered, so it's kind of cheating. But I haven't opened one yet. And we only have about a week or two to deploy something on there for the kids to play with. So we're going to definitely be playing with these. But this is exciting for me. We're going from a studio that has pretty much no Oculus hardware to already having 2 Oculus Go's. Let's see. So, debating, do I want to dig into one of those, or do we go into the big surprise? I feel like the big surprise, what's in this big box of red warnings, we should maybe save that for the end. Let's do that after. Let's finish looking at one of these Oculus Go's first. I really just want to open the package and just kind of see what's in there. Now, we get a lot of hardware. It's kind of hard for the 2D guys to see, but the 360 guys can see. You know, we got quite a bit of hardware boxes around the place. We've torn down and gotten rid of a lot, but, you know, we have a lot of headsets and a lot of support. We just haven't really had Oculus before. We did have the DK2s, and that was enough for us to do kind of a proof of concept, but the thing is, when VR started, for us, it was easier to get a hold of a Vive with the room control systems. Oculus started with gamepads, and we just couldn't find a way to make that any better than what we were getting from OSVR at the time, which is open source VR. And open source is kind of cool. If I have the choice, I want to support open source. HTC Vive had that advantage. But now, of course, there's the Oculus Touch controllers and all kinds of stuff. So Oculus has come a long way since I last really looked at it or used it at an event. And so we were really excited to be getting into Oculus a little bit. That said, these Oculus Go headsets are more like a mobile VR. Well, they're not more like, they are mobile VR. Ooh, I'm going to quit talking and just look at some of this stuff. Okay, so there's the controllers. I don't know if you can see that very well for the 360 folks, but it is certainly quite interesting. I'll get up close so you can see it a little bit better. So, very, very cool. It's got two buttons, an Oculus button and a back button, and what looks like a touch zone. So, you can see that peels back. You get kind of a touch area. So, there's the two buttons and the peel back. Trigger button on the front. So, we'll be excited to play with this a little bit and see what we get. The inside package, we see this with a lot of the VR tech that's coming out now. We saw this with 3D Rudder, OSVR, HTC Vive, everybody. Nice big foam pads on the inside, which are really nice to keep everything protected when it's in transit or if you're packing it up. It's interesting because, you know, like, it's really hard to get VR kits that you can pack everything up into and go, and I feel like this is a nice appropriate size. If you ever worked with HTC, it comes with a giant box. If you want to use that to like go to events, it's a lot of stuff to carry. Something small and light certainly seems like a good fit. So that is very cool. I like the remote. There's the accessories box. Here's where we find, ooh, nice, a cover. So here's one thing I really wondered about the cover. I didn't see this on any other videos because we want to use this for events. This is rubber. Rubber we can clean. That's nice. We got tons and tons of these. So we like to sanitize everything when we're at events and then dry it off. There are some special VR cleaners I've seen, but what we find is best just using a sanitized wipe and then drying it off really well for the next participant. So knowing that this is made out of rubber is really, really cool. That helps me a lot because it's one of the things I've been kind of nervous about is, can I clean this between people? And now I know, and now you know that you can. The device itself, drop some. You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's continue on the accessory pack first. I'm excited. This is fun for me. So, we have one battery and a little tiny lanyard and some instructions on what to do if you're wearing glasses, which is kind of nice. But it's in one of those like textless instruction sets. Kind of show you guys what I mean. It's confusing because I don't understand exactly what they mean, but maybe it'll make sense when I get into it more. The icons it has there I don't see anywhere on the devices, but hey. So it's got a lens cloth cleaner in here somewhere, probably inside of this next part of the package. So I mean, already for $199, I mean, for a similar priced product, this is what you can get from China these days for about $200 to $300 if you get it straight from China. And it is like a really low-end Android device. You'll get about 15 frames per second, which is not enough to stop nausea, but it's got a bit of a blur to it, so it kind of offsets it. But these are what we've been using as to-go, quick, all-in-one Android devices. But that's 3-year-old technology. This is today technology. And So I'm expecting quite a bit out of this device. Now, I think I see. So those parts I was unsure about, looks like they're rubber as well, which pop off on the lens, around the lenses, which is kind of nice. And we'll get more into that headset in a second. I'm just excited. I want to play with everything. So there's a nice fancy recharging cable. A booklet that says warnings. We'll just get rid of that. Compliancy, and of course lens cleaners. Lens cleaners we buy in bulk because we like to get ones that we can throw away, so we use them when we're at a trade show. We'll wipe it down and then we dry it, and we use a lens cleaner that we can just get rid of. You can buy them in bulk fairly cheap. But these ones are nice for around the house or for your personal use, so that's kind of cool. So that's our little kit from there. And then, like I mentioned before, we've got the actual device itself. So it's got the Oculus logo, my fingerprints. You got buttons on the top and on the sides. Looks like a power button, 2 volume buttons, a power indicator, a microphone on the bottom. It's got a plastic protector that you can peel off. So you can see it's just got the logo, the volume buttons, power button. This is very typical on all-in-one Android headsets to really only have a couple of buttons. What's interesting though is Deepoon and the other competitors that came out before usually have a pad for pushing the buttons in directions to allow you to pick movies and stuff like that without a controller. This one ships with a controller, so they probably didn't have to worry about that. So very cool. The inside is a felt material, so it's nice knowing that there's some kind of non-felt. Oh, interesting. So I just want to see how we can put this rubber thing in here. Oh, it's for people with glasses. So I wonder if that means if we can't protect this foam. And it looks like we might not be able to. So, oh, that's nice. It's got the Velcro straps. One of the problems with the Velcro on the Vive is it's really poorly made, and it starts to tear off and pull off. This one looks like it's much better sewn on. I don't think we're going to have that problem. I see. So this pulls out. Then they were applying this. Yeah, and then this foam went back in. So it looks like that's just a spacer to push it back if you have glasses, which is unfortunate because that means that this rubber can't be used for cleaning between clients. So we're going to have to come up with a solution because this is kind of foamy, and you don't want that foam to go between users because it's going to bring sweat with it, right? And that's never fun. It also means that when we clean it, it's going to be hard to get that surface dry, but we'll see. We'll probably find something online for that, but there you go. So it does have a very foamy, padded cover. Now, if you know anything about these headsets and I'm wrong, feel free to mention it below. Just be like, hey Lloyd, you were wrong about this. I can't believe you were wrong. Here's the right answer. Okay, so that was pretty easy for me to pull in and pull out. Basically around the 2 eye holes and the little indicator, this is usually a sensor to determine whether it's on or off. That's all I had to do was kind of pop the cloth through there. So that's kind of cool. Very interesting. That was cool. That was the unboxing for the Oculus Go. Now, time for unboxing of the mystery box. So Oculus sent us this box. They told us very little about what's inside. The only thing they asked me was for a shirt size. So that's really cool. I'm really excited. This is obviously much bigger than a shirt. I don't know what's in the box, but that would be one very big shirt. So we're going to get into it. It has warning labels all over it, anti-tamper labels, all kinds of interesting things. I even took the manifest to see if I could sneak a look before I did the video, and it told me nothing. So at this point, I know even less than you do about what's inside this box. So I'm very, very, very excited. It's like a Christmas present. Okay. I know, I should probably be using box cutters or something proper. But this is YouTube. Ooh. Alright, pop the camera. Alright, there's already stuff in here. It was not an empty box. Packaging. 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 Ooh, I see multiple packages in here. So, what do we got? Well, first things first. Here is that shirt that they had asked me about. All part of the Oculus Start program. Super cool. That's a nice hoodie. Looks great on the front and the back. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm excited. We're in Canada, so hoodies for us, especially zip-up hoodies where you can dress up and down, is huge. Here in Calgary, the temperature changes all the time. And to be able to get in there and do that stuff is just, or to get in and, you know, have lighter clothes is really cool. Okay, this is your Oculus Start Developers Kit. You're going to find hardware and goodies. Let's see what's in the box. I don't want to read ahead, that's cheating. A pen. An Oculus Start pen. I'll take it. A free pen, yes please. Ooh, cup. An Oculus Start cup, huh? That is pretty cool. Those are some great goodies. I love things like this. Those seem to be the cups that will last forever. Ooh. There we go. A nice notepad. It's lined though. Most game developers don't really use lined paper because we think outside the box, man. That's what makes us different. Very cool though. Those, I love black, easy to use notepads that are small like that for going to clients and pitching and debating stuff. Because it's less imposing and it's just an easy way to kind of keep private notes about what you're working on. We do a lot of work with clients, and so for me that kind of stuff's nice. Now, I've seen this cardboard before. That means this is an Oculus Go. That is cool. Oh, we've opened one of these. We just unboxed one. Very cool. Thank you, Oculus. And there's one last package in here. Already, that's a lot of cool stuff for free. I mean, I can't say thank you enough, so I'm really excited to see what's in this last big box. There's some kind of agreements, disclosures. Says that if I review this product, I cannot be misleading or deceptive. I must be honest about what I think about the equipment. That is huge. So usually anytime I get some kind of free stuff, you're kind of guilted into, you know, saying what they want you to say. I'm already excited. I've used Oculus stuff before. I'm very excited to be working with Oculus products. So my review is already going to be positive. They're one of the leaders in the industry for a reason, and it's because they're good at what they do. That said, I think that's really cool that they've set that as an expectation, to be honest, because that's not really what happens in the industry. We see this on YouTube and other channels all the time. So, one last mystery box. Goodbye. What could be in this one? So it's light. I'm interested. It's lighter than a Vive would have been. Vive boxes are quite heavy. So what is the last thing in this mystery box? It is a monkey toy pet. It is a warranty guide for... Ooh. That, my friends, is an Oculus Rift developer kit. So in here, we get touch controls. What's really cool about this is we get a lot of people asking this from some of our games, and we have some clients now that are Oculus only. And I haven't had the faintest idea how to implement this. I mentioned this before, but we've been working with this for 3 years, and I've had a lot of people asking me for support for these controls. It is going to be such a learning curve for me. I know that there's a mapping, so it shouldn't be too hard, but I really want to learn how to use these controls as opposed to these ones. Very excited. So I took a quick look of what's in here for us compared to what's in a consumer kit, and it looks like it's pretty much the same. So you get 2 of those. We get the Oculus Rift, of course, adjusters on the bottom. I won't go into this. I'm sure there are many more unboxing videos about what you can do with an Oculus Rift. The speakers attached. Now it's funny because a lot of people, myself included, love the Vive for being able to add your own speakers, but one thing that kind of drives me nuts is I get tired, and having to run cables and hook up headphones every time can be a little bit tiring. I don't want to spend $150 for the bundled audio speakers when, you know, something like this has them already built in. It also makes it easier as a developer to predict what the sound quality is going to be for a user, because I can set kind of a bare minimum bar of what I'm going to expect, so I know what it's going to sound like from user to user, whereas if you have fancy headphones or cheap headphones, your experience is going to be very, very different, and it's harder for me to predict how to scare you in a horror game. So, really excited to be working with that. There is a weapon to defend yourself with in case aliens attack or something. I don't know. It's a spiky thing. And then, of course, these guys, which act kind of like base stations, kind of like Vive has base stations, is my understanding for these. And there's 2 of those, which is what you need to be able to do room control in the Oculus Rift. So that's it. That's the whole unboxing. So cool. So to recap what was in the box, we got a t-shirt, we got a pen, we got a book, we got a glass, we've got an Oculus Go, and we got an Oculus Rift. That is really cool. And on top of that, they did send us licensing for Unity for a year, for each of our developers, not just for one developer, as well as access to special forums, special support, all that kind of stuff. This is a really great program. So if you're a developer working with VR, I highly, highly, highly recommend apply to the Oculus Start program. Big thank you to Oculus. A big thank you to everybody who's watching.